What is it about us human beings that we can throw our entire lives away, or relationships away, or job away, or whatever it is, by doing something in the heat of a moment that we regret moments later? How is it that we're able to do such things? And how do we convince ourselves to get to a place where we choose to make such irresponsible decisions? Whether it's saying something hurtful or inappropriate to someone in a moment of anger, whether it's being disloyal to someone, whatever it is, how is it that we end up doing these things? And what are the ways that we can control our impulses that can push us to do things in the heat of the moment that, with a bit of reflection, we might choose not to? A few years ago, we did a very popular video on JTV about the story of Joseph and how he resisted the temptation to commit having an affair with his master, Potiphar's wife. And one of the things that we didn't actually touch on, which I think is really poignant in this discussion, is one of the tactics the yetzer, the evil inclination, will use in order to tempt someone to do the wrong thing. That probably applied in the case of Joseph as well. See, in the case of Joseph, it wasn't just a matter of physical temptation. There was also something else that made the temptation, the urge, so much harder, and what makes him so much more of a tzaddik, a righteous person, and have shown such greatness in this moment. And what was it? Think about the story of Joseph. Joseph had been betrayed by his entire family. He thought that they'd basically just disposed of him, and that was that. He was on his own, living in a totally different culture, basically had every reason to feel rejected, despondent, low, depressed, and to feel sorry for himself. And when you're in a state of feeling sorry for yourself, like what do I owe anyone else? What do I owe God in terms of being moral when he has treated me this way, or when life has treated me this way? That's a tactic the yetzer uses to really push someone over the edge, to make you feel sorry for yourself. You know what? What does it even matter anymore? Look at the way life's treated you. And anyway, what do you owe God? Look how he's treated you. And anyway, given all the trouble that you've been through, you have the right to be a little bit lax in your morals. What have you got to lose at this point? That is the real brilliance of the yetzer's tactic. To get you when you're feeling at your lowest, as if you almost deserve it because of how life has treated you. That's when it really tries to convince you that your actions don't even matter that much, or that perhaps there's even some justification for it. And that was the greatness of Joseph. And I think often that is what pushes people, and perhaps to some extent it's understandable, people in really difficult circumstances, to become a little bit apathetic about behaving morally, because they're just a bit despondent with life. So what is the answer to such a voice? To that voice that tells you not to care so much when you're feeling down in the dumps? I think part of it is what Joseph says in his response to Potiphar's wife, which is, as much as, there may be a temptation here, this would be a betrayal to my God and to my master. The only real solution to a sense of apathy is to recognize that actually my actions still do matter. They still do matter to God, and to take yourself outside of yourself. The way that the yetzer, the evil inclination that we all have, the reptile brain within all of us, the way it operates, that tries to keep us self-absorbed as possible, to how can I get what I want, satisfy my desires, my needs, make my existence as comfortable as possible. And that's its tactic. And therefore it will use the way in which life hasn't gone your way as a way to help you make the case in your head that you can just become a bit apathetic about your actions. But conversely, even if you do that and you do give in, you will still end up being trapped by a inner voice, an inner world that is totally consumed by fulfilling one's own needs and to make one's own existence as good as possible, a total self-absorption, which never leads to ultimate fulfillment, because there's always more and more that one wants. And as long as one is within themselves, they will never be able to reach out, they'll never connect to something beyond themselves, which is where real satisfaction lies. And to actually, even though that voice within us tells us this will really make us happy, the truth is that real happiness only lies when you reach out beyond yourself and you think about, how can I be of impact to others? In what way does the world, does God need me? And in that way you gain real satisfaction and fulfillment. And ultimately, self-absorption, looking withinwards, feeling sorry for yourself, it may work in the short term, but in the long term, it leaves one yearning for something more, yearning for connection to something else, something higher, something more than oneself. And so the yetzer, hara, the evil inclination, as convincing and compelling as it may be, that it can help us satisfy our needs and wants, in the end, it's only coming from a place of one's own need, one's own existence, one's own self-absorption, and that will never, ever lead to human fulfillment, because it is a great complement to the human condition that we are only satisfied, that we are only fulfilled when we are of service to others, when we're connecting to others and we're connecting to a higher purpose, and where we're focused less on our needs and more on how we are needed. That is the answer to that inner voice of lowness and apathy. I'm Ollie Annisfeld, and you're watching JTV. Hey guys, I just wanted to mention before you go, my younger sister Annabelle has set up an online skincare consultation business. We've put a link in the video description, where basically she provides some guidance and consultation on the best skincare products for you. She's had a bit of a journey herself in trying to figure that out and has a huge amount of knowledge and expertise in this area. So if you're someone that could looking for a bit of advice in that area, please feel free to check it out, and I'm sure she'd be delighted to help.